It's not hard to understand why Disney's most recent remake of Snow White is degenerating into a state of complete anarchy. The production company is in a state of panic because it has already invested $300 million in a project that is not even close to being a classic from 1937. What is at the center of this chaos? A ferocious confrontation between Rachel Zegler, who plays Snow White herself, and Gal Gadot, who plays the villainous queen. As the tensions reach a boiling point, Gal Gadot is swiftly stealing the spotlight, leaving Zegler in the dust and Disney scrambling to save face. This remake has the potential to be the final nail in the coffin for Disney's agenda to become more woke. That being said, here we are with Disney's most recent attempt to reimagine a well-loved classic, and boy, is it a treat to watch. It's almost as if they decided to throw away everything that made the 1937 version of Snow White a timeless fairy tale, and then decided to throw it overboard. Disney has made some changes that are so shocking that they have people scratching their heads, and not in a positive way. These changes are implemented in the 2025 version, which lets people go back and reschedule their trips 25 days before. But because of Judge for the beginning, the original story that explains where Snow White got her name, which was based on her fair skin that was as white as snow, has already been forgotten. As an alternative, this new Snow White is given that name because she was able to survive a snowstorm. Do you really mean a snowstorm? What they thought we needed was a significant twist like that. I understand that Disney is attempting to be up to date and forward-thinking in this regard. However, they have failed to achieve their goal. People adore the original Snow White because it has the feel of a magical fairy tale, complete with dwarves, a queen who is evil, and a princess who has a story that is truly iconic. You are alienating the very people who grew up cherishing this story, and guess what? They are the ones who have children who are now ready to pass down the same timeless tales. Replacing all of that with random weather events not only dilutes the magic, but it also alienates those people. However, is it possible for them to do so when the entire thing has been rewritten into some bizarre woke fable? The fact of the matter is that Disney is making every effort to be innovative and inclusive, but it seems as though they are losing sight of the reasons why these classics are so well liked by people all over the world in the first place. It seems as though they are making such a concerted effort to appeal to a new audience that they are forgetting about the devoted fans who have been there from the very beginning, and believe me when I say that those fans are not extremely pleased about it. Rachel Zegler, the actress that Disney has selected to play Snow White in the upcoming reboot, was already a contentious choice in and of itself, but her public comments have taken the controversy to an entirely new level. The views that she holds, which let's just say lean heavily into woke territory, have been expressed by her in a fairly vocal manner. It seems as though she is determined to throw every bit of the original charm into the shredder and replace it with whatever is trending in Hollywood these days. She has even mentioned that this Snow White will not be saved by a prince and that she will not be sitting around dreaming about true love. She has had a significant impact on the movie, which is very obvious. It has been reported by a few sources that she has played a role in guiding the film in a direction that is more contemporary, which in Disney parlance means making a significant departure from the traditional fairy tale. In addition to this, she has been at the center of some pretty intense conflicts behind the scenes. Rumors have it that her opinions have caused quite a few people to feel uncomfortable, and not in a positive way. It is almost as if she is attempting to transform Snow White into a soapbox for her own personal beliefs, and it should come as no surprise that this is not something that everyone is happy about. They wanted the whimsical and innocent Snow White from their childhoods, not a grittier and more cynical version of a character who, let's face it, didn't need to be fixed. Fans have made their apprehensions abundantly clear. The vision of Zegler, along with that of Disney, appeared to be in conflict with what the audience wants, which is a faithful homage to a classic. Instead of that, they are going to undergo a politically charged makeover, which has caused a great number of people to feel betrayed. Not a problem. In the midst of all this mayhem, let us discuss Gal Gadot, who is truly the queen. She's stepping into the role of the evil queen, and if there's one thing Disney seems to have done right with this movie, it's casting her. Now, the gal has this undeniable charisma that's almost impossible to ignore, and in a project that's rapidly spiraling out of control, she's starting to look like the only stable element holding things together. It is possible that Disney initially focused their marketing strategy on Rachel Zegler. However, they are quickly coming to the realization that Gal Gadot is the one that people are excited to see, and it is understandable why they would be excited about her. Because of her commanding presence and endearing personality, Gal Gadot has grown to become a fan favorite over the course of her career, which makes her an ideal candidate for this role. By chance, is she becoming an increasingly important part of the marketing campaign for me specifically, and it's not something I want to focus too much on. After the impending catastrophe that has been unfolding, Disney is aware that she may be their best chance of regaining the attention of their audience. Her scenes are being brought to the forefront, most likely due to the fact that she is one of the few aspects of this movie that fans are genuinely excited about. In a sense, she has become the unofficial spokesperson for the film. So, since I'm framing this question for you, what are your thoughts on how you think Bender's character has been handled in Disney's Disney movies? As more and more evidence of Gal Gadot's involvement becomes available, it appears that it is beginning to overshadow Zegler's role. To put it another way, it's almost as if Disney has realized where their bread is buttered and made the decision to capitalize on it by putting more of their attention on Gal Gadot. There is a suggestion that she might be the savior of this endeavor, and they are making this statement. It's possible that her presence will be the factor that swings the balance in favor of the movie when it finally makes its way into theaters. On set, there have been some serious arguments between Zegler and Gal Gadot, which has led to the tension between them reaching a boiling point. According to the words Netflix's, they decided to move forward with potential with the film since Gal Gadot was coming of age and there was at least a little hope for them. Zegler has been allegedly accusing Gal Gadot of sabotaging her role and attempting to steal the spotlight. Zegler has been providing Gal Gadot with a significant amount of criticism. Oh my goodness, what a chaotic situation. It would appear that Zegler is not overly enthusiastic about the path that Disney is taking, particularly in light of the fact that Gal Gadot's role is receiving an increasing amount of attention. There is a rumor going around that Zegler went so far as to demand that certain scenes involving Gal Gadot be removed from the film. Imagine that you are attempting to remove scenes from the main antagonist of the film, who at the same time happens to be one of the most famous actors in Hollywood. It stands to reason that executives at Disney are scratching their heads over how to handle this entire mess. The drama that has been going back and forth has only made the production more chaotic, with plans for reshoots. You have a project that is already having trouble, and now you have two leading ladies who can't seem to get along with each other. Getting entangled in these conflicts is becoming increasingly difficult. I would not be surprised if they shut down for the next 2 days at least. I am still on a time schedule according to the producers. Congratulations if you haven't quit. The marketing strategy that Disney employs has been completely thrown off by all of this tension. They are now confronted with the challenge of preventing things from becoming even messier, rather than the challenge of running a promotional campaign without problem. It has been reported that they are shifting their focus towards Gal Gadot, most likely in the hope that her star power will be significant enough to overshadow the controversy. However, at this point, it is difficult to say whether or not it will be sufficient to save the film. The drama that is taking place on set is not just a headache for Disney, it is a full-blown crisis. And let's be honest, if they are unable to find a solution to this problem, Snow White 2025 may be remembered for all the wrong reasons. With the release of this new version of Snow White, it would appear that Disney has effectively cornered itself. It is estimated that they have already invested a staggering $300 million in the project, and now with the additional expenses associated with reshoots, that number is only going to increase. So, In this case, we are talking about an additional $25 million just to try and patch things up. And to tell you the truth, it is questionable whether these reshoots are going to fix anything or whether they are just going to turn this into a classic case of throwing good money after bad for a company that is used to it. Despite the fact that they are breaking box office records, these kinds of mistakes are beginning to look like cracks in the foundation. Both the production delays and the drama that is taking place behind the scenes are not helping matters, particularly when they have shareholders breathing down their necks. Disney cannot afford to continue missing deadlines and rearranging release dates. This is especially true when they have shareholders. Each delay not only adds to the costs that are accruing, however, it also diminishes the anticipation of the audience. People are losing interest in Disney, and the company's reputation is suffering as a result of this. Let's face it, with each new report of onset, turmoil arises. They have been having a difficult time recently, as evidenced by a number of low-profile failures. The conclusion that can be drawn from this is that their financial stability is not as rock solid as it once was. With the kind of money they've sunk into this, it's likely to take a lot more than a PR band-aid to keep this ship from sinking. And I think that this is just in the Disney custom. And I always tell people that don't like this rendition or there's suspicion they won't like it, listen, you can go to Disney Plus and you can see the 1939 version of Snow White. The controversy surrounding Snow White 2025 is not isolated to Disney. Rather, it exemplifies a wider disconnect within the entertainment industry with regard to the demand for woke remakes. The fans who are looking for the classic magic, rather than a modernized lecture, are being turned off by Disney. When compared to Rachel Zegler's agenda-driven interpretation, the audience is more likely to respond positively to Gal Gadot's acceptance of her role without altering the narrative. Zegler is losing fans as a result of Disney's response, which is telling because the company is heavily relying on Gal Gadot for marketing purposes. There is a possibility that Disney will lose their loyal base if they do not reconsider these political overhauls. What really needs to be answered is whether or not they will finally put stories ahead of agendas. Where do you stand with regard to this matter? Post your thoughts in the comments section below.